Well, this week didn't go as well as I'd hoped it would. I'm building this 1/12 scale model house from scratch. I needed to attach this wall assembly. And I need to attach the wood siding, which I made out of popsicle sticks. I'd hoped to attach the siding before I attach the wall, but this won't be possible because the siding needs to be glued to both walls where they meet in the corner. So I'm going to glue the wall in place and add some screws to add strength to the model. I drilled some pilot holes for the screws so that the wood won't crack or split when I put the screws into the wall assembly. I made the mini studs a bit thicker than they would normally be if they were made to actual scale, to avoid the wood splitting. I'm going to put about 4 screws to the base of the wall assembly to attach it to the floor assembly. I've added a couple of nails to each end of the wall assembly through the top plate and sole plate, or bottom plate as some people call it. I used a framing square to make sure I get the walls as square as possible. Juggling all this stuff wasn't quite as easy as I hoped it would be. This is proving to be a bit more difficult than I'd anticipated. I probably should have used some clamps or something, but hindsight's always 20/20. I put some glue along the floor and down the edge of the other wall. My plan was to put the 4 screws through the wall assembly and into the floor assembly, which should prove to be a very strong bond. I used a bit of painter's tape to try and hold the wall in place. Yeah, in hindsight, I probably should have glued it and held it with clamps and then added the screws after the glue dried. That would have made a really slick video. Probably would have gone viral. Yeah, right. I feel like Homer Simpson right now when he was trying to build stuff. I struggled quite a bit because my hand drill is quite large and it doesn't quite fit into the space very well. When I put the screw in, it went through the pilot hole, but then it wouldn't grab into the floor and the whole wall assembly wouldn't sit flat. It was quite a rough go trying to get this wall assembly attached. If you've been watching my previous videos or if you like my content, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could like and subscribe. It'd really mean a lot to me because this has been a really difficult part of the construction of this model house. I really try to make my videos showing everything perfect, but unfortunately this week it just didn't work out. So any comments of support would be greatly appreciated. That looks so sad. I keep telling myself that years from now I'm going to look back on this and just laugh. As a new YouTuber, one thing I'm learning is it is way easier to build miniatures and do crafts when there's no camera watching you. I finally stopped the camera in embarrassment and continued to attach the wall with the camera turned off. I decided to add some screws to the wall where these 2 wall assemblies meet, the 2 walls by the front porch. When I drilled the screw into the wood, it split. I tried a second screw and it split too. So I added some glue and brought out the clamps and tried to fix it. Fortunately, these walls will be covered eventually. It probably would have been easier to just build the house using solid pieces of plywood or hey, buy a kit. This is a model of a Sears Kit House and they were famously known for their framing method, which is called the balloon style of framing. So I'm going to push on. I'll put a link in the description I made about balloon framing. So I'm trying to build this house as accurately as possible, the way it would have been built back in 1910, but only to scale. When I attached the other wall, I noticed a piece of siding had come loose, so I glued it up. It'll need to be filled and sanded and repainted again too. I decided to put some glue on the inside of the siding, which will eventually be covered. I think the glue will give a bit more strength to the siding so it won't come loose in the future. If this had been built the way a real house would have been built, they would have put a layer of shiplap over the beams and then covered it with tar paper and then the siding. So here's the wall. I finally got it attached. And the glue on the split beam, it dried. You can start to see the living room taking shape. I removed the clamps. I seem to have been able to repair the cracked beam beside the door. This was a rough week building my miniature 1/12 scale model of a Sears Kit House, but things seem to have turned out okay. I just wanted to say thanks for watching and I really appreciate it. Why don't you check out this video and see how I framed the other wall? That was a much better week. I hope to see you in the next video.